station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Phillies.
After a 2 and 4 road trip, the Angels enjoyed the off day here in Southern California, and tonight at the Big A, they kick off a 9-game homestand. It's the Philadelphia Phillies in town. We are back in interleague action. We welcome you inside the Big A and back to Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubicza. I'm Victor Rojas, and just going back to Sunday's game, if you want to talk about some of the positives, and there were plenty of positives, the Angels in a position, obviously, to pick up the sweep. It did not happen, but Albert Pujols, who had been mired in a horrific slump, 0 for 24, 2 at-bats shy of his career high. He busted out big way, 3 hits and 2 home runs.
Yeah, Victor, when you think about it, some of those baseballs hit hard during that stretch, but other times he was pulling off the baseball and rolling over and hitting some ground balls to short and third. But that game the other day on Sunday, you talk about squaring up the pitch. He's been very good on pitches in the lower part of the strike zone this season. That first at bat, well out, 2-run home run, and then he had an RBI single, and then his 3rd hit of the game, a big fly way out to left center field. 606, 607 now in his career. 56th time he's had a multi-home run game for Albert Pujols. And what we've seen from Albert over his career, once he goes to one of those streaks, it'll continue for some time against this pitcher tonight. Aaron Nola, very good pitcher down in the strike zone. So it should be a very interesting matchup between Pujols and Nola here today.
Yeah, it is a hot, muggy night here, so the baseball may be flying. Ricky Nolasco's on the mound for the Angels, trying to keep the baseball in the yard as the Phillies come in with a 4-game winning streak, having swept the Atlanta Braves. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back, relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Land Rover retailers. By Jerome's Furniture, home of Jerry's Price and proudly the official furniture store of Angels baseball. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Welcome back out to the Big A, the opening game of this 3-game set against the Philadelphia Phillies. It is hot and it is muggy. You know it's muggy and sweaty when the Phillies guys lean over and tell you this is soupier than our place in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and you know it's soupy in Philadelphia.
Yes, I know that all too well.
Halo's taking the field, and let's talk a little bit about the Philadelphia Phillies. We mentioned that they are coming in here playing a little bit better baseball. I said a 4-game winning streak. It's actually a 5-game winning streak, but they just had a 4-game sweep of the Atlanta Braves. The first 4-game sweep of the Braves since 1949. So they're playing a little bit better baseball. It's a very young team. There's Pete McCannon on the right. He's the manager. And this is the lineup that he will run out there. It's game number 104. They come in at 39 and 64. And Cesar Hernandez will lead things off. He's the second baseman. Freddie Galvis at short. Aaron Altair is the right fielder. Tommy Joseph at first base, cleanup hitter. Odubel Herrera, the center fielder. Michael Franco is the third baseman. Nick Williams in left. Young Soo Kim, just acquired in the Jeremy Hellickson deal with the Baltimore Orioles. He's serving as the DH. And then Andrew Knapp, the switch hitting catcher, is batting ninth. They are taking on Ricky Nolasco. Ricky on the season obviously has struggled this year. Angels opening day starter, making his 22nd start. He's 4-12 with a 5.07 ERA.
Yeah, the big thing for Ricky Nolasco is to establish his fastball, but above all, utilize all his all-speed pitches, especially against this Philadelphia Philly team. They're a young team. They will attack a fastball. The secondary pitch is very important for Ricky here tonight.
Check out the defense for the Angels in the opener of this series. Revere, Trout, and Flores in the outfield. Ramon Flores called up today. We'll talk about some of the changes as well. Yunel Escobar, Andrelton Simmons on the left side. Caleb Coward, Luis Valbuena on the right side, and Martin Maldonado. Who else behind the plate?
And Flores getting that start out in right field. At 37 of them last year with the Milwaukee Brewers. 4 outfield assists. His 1 error as an outfielder. Played all 3 outfield positions. He played first base for the Milwaukee Brewers last season.
Cole Calhoun not in the starting lineup. Got some good news yesterday after having the MRI on his hamstring, the sore hamstring. Just a little more than a cramp, a little less than a grade 1 strain. So don't think he'll spend any time on the disabled list. So Flores takes over out of the outfield. Brooks Pounders was sent out, and Paredes called back up. He's in the bullpen. Work with us. Or if you worked with us in the pregame show, David Hernandez, very effective closer or reliever for the Angels, traded yesterday to the Arizona Diamondbacks. First one tonight is in there for a strike. It's Cesar Hernandez, a switch hitting second baseman. Comes in batting .288, 6 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Escobar in on the grass in third. Chop this one toward the middle. Tough play for Coward. Off balance, third and that speed had a little trouble on the transfer, and it's an infield base hit for Hernandez.
Yeah, we had a little rain here. Granted, they got the tarp out there quick enough. A little bit of rain on the infield early on before batting practice. Unable to get the grip of this baseball as it skips on them. A little bit of a bobble, even with that strong throwing arm from Coward. Hernandez able to beat it out. See a little bit of a bobble. Tried to get a lot on that throw. Hernandez beats it out for an infield hit.
Hernandez has now reached safely at 13 of his last 14 games since coming off the disabled list. So he's on board. Freddie Galvis, shortstop, takes a strike, also a switch hitter. 3 of them in the lineup for Pete McCannon. Galvis, 27-year-old, of Venezuela. Comes in batting .253. Pulls this one foul.
By the way, that was a 24th infield hit by Hernandez this season. That's the second most in Major League Baseball this season. So it's not unusual for him to beat out a hit in the infield. Also a pretty good bunter.
Oh, 2 outside, the off-speed pitch. Velasco coming off a loss at Cleveland. 3 runs, 9 hits, and 6 2/3. Did not pitch poorly. Threw 119 pitches. But his 119th ended up going for an extra base hit. Difference in that game.
Yeah, I thought he threw the ball very well.
2-2.
Hernandez with 10 stolen base. Stole his 10th bag yesterday. He's been caught 3 times.
Phils don't run a whole lot, just 42 on the season, 12th in the National League. Good lead for him, though. Breaking pitch, popped up, shallow center. One down.
My Hyundai key for the game for the club is to think in terms of this homestand. One little boys to men with Philadelphia in town. End of the road, that tough road trip over with. Had the off day to clear the mind. Now a 9-game homestand. Starting here with the Phillies tonight. The turnaround, the club has played well at home. Need to do so right now to get back in that contention for that second wild card spot.
Phillies, A's, and Orioles on this homestand.
All below 500. All have really struggled on the road, including the Phillies, 16-36 on the road this year.
Aaron Altherr, the right fielder, is having a nice season. 26-year-old, 291 average, 16 home runs, and 48 runs batted in. One ball, one strike. Phillies 16-36 out on the road this year. They're swinging the bats a little bit better at a 269 team batting average in the month of July. This one gets away from Maldonado. Tried to backhand that. A fastball. So a wild pitch puts a man in scoring position.
Third wild pitch of the season for Nolasco. And Altherr's a guy that's very, very good as far as inside part of the plate. Try to go with sinker down, try to go to the outside part of the plate. Gets away from Maldonado. Wild pitch, runner in scoring position.
Two-one. Altherr cues this one toward first base. Nolasco misplays it. That's one of those, it looked like as if, Gooby, that he tried to field on the run as opposed to just planting and let that ball come to you.
Especially as a hitter, you're not real balanced out of the batter's box when you get jammed like that. So you have plenty of time to get yourself into fielding position, especially with the spin on the baseball, as you can see here. And didn't get his, the footwork down. You just want to get yourself as if you're a middle infielder at that point. Get lower part and then be able to stay low and then be able to field that and flip it over the first base. It would have been an easy out at first. Instead, with the spin on the baseball and you're still moving, tough to keep in the glove.
So one out, runners at first and third. Sorry, go.
First error of the season for Ricky Nolasco. Generally a very good fielding pitcher.
Tommy Joseph, the first baseman, up. And he will look at a strike. It's like adding insult to injury, because he made a quality pitch, had a hitter way out in front of it, thought you had yourself the out, and then you yourself, after making that quality pitch, kicked the baseball. So Hernandez over at third, Altherr at first. This is a base at the left. Hernandez will come in to score. The Phillies have themselves a 1-0 lead.
And generally that's what happens after a play you're unable to make as a pitcher. It kind of has that carryover effect. Joseph picks up his 54th RBI in that single between short and third.
So 2 on, 1 out still. Odubel Herrera, center fielder, comes up. First one in for a strike. Herrera, 25-year-old, native of Venezuela. 278 on the season, 11 home runs and 41 runs batted in.
44 extra base hits this season, including 32 doubles.
talented players, had some issues. This is Sky, shallow center. Simmons going out. End up calling an infield fly rule. 2 outs.
Third baseman, number 7, Michael Franco.
So 2 outs, 2 on, 1-0 Phils. Michael Franco, third baseman, now up. 228 on the season, 16 home runs, and a career high 25 home runs and 88 runs batted in last season. Still just 24 years of age. Franco from the Dominican Republic. He's one of many on this team for the Phillies. Young. They are the lowest average age in Major League Baseball at 26 as a team. Count even up on him at 1 ball, 1 strike. 17 pitches so far. Trying to limit the damage to just 1 run.
Well, when you think about it, an infield hit, a wild pitch, a ground ball to you as a pitcher, and you're not able to field it, and then the base hit after that. The Phillies got a lead, 1-0.
Franco's been a little bit better hitter out on the road at home this year. 241 away from Philadelphia, 214 at home. Still a guy that likes to turn on the baseball, would rather turn on the baseball, trying to lift. Has that power that we mentioned. Fastball.
And trying to stay away from that power, pitching the outside part of the plate.
I don't think Maldonado really cared for that pitch. It is too good of a pitch, seemed like.
One thing about Martin Maldonado that I think has been so impressive is the way he handles his pitching staff. And when he feels that you didn't make your pitch, he will let you know, which is important. You want somebody behind the plate to make sure and everything. Oh, that's a good pitch.
And a swing and a miss. Down goes Franco. So Nolasco makes the mistake, but limits it to just a run. 1-0 Philadelphia as we head to the bottom of the first. The lineup for Mike Scioscia's game number 107. The Angels 4 games under 500 at 51 and 55. And more importantly, if you're talking about potential playoff bid, 5 back the second wild card spot. Escobar leading things off at third, Trout at center, Pujols DHing. Valbuena the cleanup hitter at first, Simmons the shortstop, Ben Revere's in left, Martin Maldonado behind the plate, Ramon Flores in right, Caleb Coward back in the lineup yet again. He's batting ninth, playing second base. They are taking on the 24-year-old right-hander native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Former first-round pick. It's Aaron Nola on the mound for Philadelphia.
He is throwing the ball very, very well. Fastball, good moving fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam, 90 to 95 range. Curveball, very good one, and changeup. My go-to to be successful against him, though, is work yourself in those favorable counts. 1-0, 2-1. Hitters have had success and steal some bases against him. He's allowed 11 stolen bases in 11 attempts.
Good command for Nola. First one is fouled off. Of a three-quarter, little side. Wide, almost looks like he hides the baseball very well.
When you talk about his numbers versus his fastball this year, they are extremely low. Both the 4-seam fastball and sinking fastball. Low 200 batting average against him on those pitches.
Slider misses down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Udell comes in batting .272. 20 doubles, a triple, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs. 1 hit on Sunday. It was an RBI double. Also scored a run. Fastball in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See that arm angle he throws it. He can paint that outside corner very well. He's 30 walks and 107 strikeouts. 99 in the 3rd inning pitch this season.
Down the line. Long run for Altair and goes into the slide. Can't come up with it. It's a foul ball. And fortunately, heads up play of him going into that slide with that wall out there and right.
Even with that slide into that wall, there's not a lot of give down there in that corner. Good effort though by Altair trying to catch that baseball. See him slam into that wall. Knee first and then shoulder area. Pretty solid defender. 6 outfield assists so far for him this season. Really turned into a very good player for the Phillies.
Breaking ball pulled toward the hole. Backhanded, nice play by Galvis. Throws out Yunel Escobar for the first out. Check out the Phillies on the defensive side of things. Williams, Herrera, Altair in the outfield from left to right. It's Franco, Galvis, Hernandez, and Joseph from third to first. Nap behind the plate.
And Franco, some improvement over each season as far as fielding percentage at third base, up to .961. This season has turned 16 double plays, 16 all of last season as far as turning a double play with a third baseman for the Phils. We've had some real good ones over the years with Mike Schmidt, Scott Rowland. Real good defensive third basemen.
Cody Ashley didn't quite work out.
He had a good throwing arm, though.
Yes, he did. 1-0 count on Trout, hitting .332, 19 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Two balls, no strikes. Nola, first round pick out of LSU in 2014. Spent some time in the big league 2015. Last year, 6-9 with a 4.78 ERA in 20 starts.
So what pretty interesting matchup here for Trout versus Nola. Nola's got real good numbers on his sinking fastball. Just a .216 batting average versus his sinker, but Mike Trout versus a sinker this season, .468. Those numbers, 5 home runs versus a sinker though. Nola, very good with that pitch, getting some quick ground ball outs. They're going to try to elevate against Trout today, knowing that Trout is so good in those low pitches in the strike zone.
Breaking pitch lifted out toward right. Altair is there. 2 down. A couple of guys have seen Nola before. Revere, Simmons, Escobar, Flores also called up today as 1 for 5 in his career. Two quick outs, and Albert Pujols coming to the plate. Albert with that 3-hit game has got his average at .233. 16 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Now with 2,914 career hits, 607 home runs, 1,880 runs batted in. Takes a strike. Three infielders on the left side. A little run to that pitch, hasn't he?
Yeah, when he drops, because of the way that arm angle he throws, when he drops his elbow, even if he's not even trying to do that, that creates that movement, especially starts middle of the plate, and he'll run up and in on a right-handed batter.
Fastball got him looking. And the Angels down in order, a shutdown inning for Aaron Nola. 1-0 Phils as we head to the second.
And now it's time for the driver's seat, brought to you by the new 2017 Kia Sorento. The Angels have had some success against one opponent. Tigers, they won 14 in a row from 02 through 03. The A's 96 through 97. They won 12 in a row. Tigers again 2012 through 14, but they've won 9 straight versus the Phillies. They lost the first game of the set against them, and 9 straight since that point.
Yeah, that game was June 9th, 2003. The only victory Philadelphia's had against the Angels. But they lead at 1-0 here in the second. Nick Williams, starting left fielder, leading things off. Behind in the count at 0-2. Williams, Kim, and Knapp, bottom third of the order. 25 games for Nick, 277 batting average. He'll go down swinging on the off-speed pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts for Nolasco. 1 out.
That's a real good splitter there from Ricky Nolasco. Not only the speed of the pitch, downward action. Starts around thigh high, ends up just below the knee. You get a swing and miss at 80 miles an hour. On top, very little rotation of a splitter, gets a swing and miss.
Young Soo Kim, the DH, 29-year-old from Seoul, South Korea. With Baltimore, hit .232, a home run and 10 runs batted in. That was in 56 games. Came over in the, as we mentioned, the Jeremy Hellickson deal, just consummated a couple days ago. I'll pull it foul. The ball's 2 strikes. Second game that he has played for Philadelphia. He's had just 1 at bat.
Going to run that 2-seamer and bring it back in the strike zone after a couple splitters that were low.
Breaking ball misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He'll rip this one into right field, headed toward the wall. Flores not going to be able to cut it off, so Kim will turn and head to second. And he's going to slam the brakes on right there.
An all-speed pitch on the inner half of the plate, and Kim will drop the barrel of the bat and hook that one down the line into that swing path of a left-handed batter. Breaking ball, more of a slider than a curveball, stayed back on a well, and Kim lines it for a double. His first hit as a Philly, 5th double this season overall.
To a man in scoring position, Andrew Knapp coming up, switch hitting catcher. Cameron Rupp, the other catcher for Philadelphia. They've split time behind the plate. Knapp will shoot one to left. Revere's there though. Think about perfect positioning. 1 out, or pardon me, 2 outs.
And we talked a lot about the infield shifts put on during the season, but the outfield positioning has been very, very good. No one looking at scouting reports. Dino Ebel and Alfredo Griffin split that between the infielders and the outfielders in positioning. Is Alfredo. There's Dino Ebel.
Hernandez a swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies second baseman. Infield base hit lead off the game. 24 infield hits. Some guy named Altuve leading the way in baseball.
He gets a hit every at bat.
Ground ball to second. Coward. He bobbles it. Hernandez will reach. Second error of the ball game. The inning continues. First and third, 2 outs.
And Coward has been really solid. This is recall playing second base. Looked like he just looked up. Instead of keeping that eye on the baseball, had hands in position, but looked up. Looking towards the throw of the first base and unable to control the baseball. Ends up being an error. Now it's up to Ricky Nolasco to pick him up.
Freddie Galvis, a shortstop, hit a fly ball to right his first time up. Take down and in. '67 RBIs, also a career high for him last year. 21 doubles, 5 triples this year to go with 11 jacks. Kim standing at third. Hernandez at first. 2 balls, no strikes.
Really big moment, even though it's early in the game, especially the way Aaron Nola has thrown this season, especially in his last 7 starts. ERA well below 2.
Ground ball toward the middle. Cowart to the backhand will flip it to Simmons. And they get the 3rd out. Nothing happening here. The second one to the bottom of the inning. Philadelphia's up 1-0.
Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is being brought to you by the all-new 2017 Subaru Impreza. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 28 miles per gallon. More than a car, it's a Subaru.
Philadelphia with a 1-0 lead as we begin the bottom of the second. Valbuena, Simmons, and Revere to face Aaron Nola, who had himself a 1-2-3 first. He's hitting 199 with 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. 1-for-3 game on Sunday. Swing first pitch, lofted down the line. This one's slicing foul. Hung up.
Williams was going a long way to try to track that one down. Got close.
I tell you what, off the bat, I'm thinking that ball was going to slice easily into the seats and just kind of stayed up there. Got stuck in the humidity.
It's certainly a lot of that here today. It's going to make him run that far again.
This time
he goes, oh,
yeah.
No, I'm good.
No need. Veteran move right there.
Yeah.
Pulls this one to the right side. Long run in. Nice play with the glove. One down.
Under control on that play. Athletic play. On the flip. Have to make that play with the glove all in one motion. Look over the first base, Joseph. Galvis, we could see that talented athleticism to be able to make that play and the quick flip over the first to get Valbuena for the first out of the inning. Second ground ball out for Nola so far with a punch out and a fly out.
Angels to Simmons, swinging first pitch, bounces it foul. Angels hit 378 in the month of July. It's 7 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. OPS just under 1,000. Breaks his bat here. 2 down. Here comes Ben Revere. Hey, experience Angels baseball for some of the best seats in the house. Gets tickets to the Lexus Diamond Club, and guess what? You get to enjoy exclusive benefits like access to the Lexus Diamond Club Restaurant and Lounge.
Nice.
888-796-HALO or go to angels.com for more info. Revere looks at a strike. Then hitting 243. 8 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, 11 runs batted in. Just missed off the plate.
Boy, both sides of the plate so far in this game very effectively. 20 pitches thrown, 16 of them strikes.
That's a scouting report we got. You will see him work east, west, north, south. He could hit pretty much any quadrant of the strike zone that he wants.
Keeps the ball in the ballpark for the most part. Big Gray talked about those last 7 starts. 1.49 ERA.
That includes his last start, and that was against Houston. 6 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, and picking up the W. Back up the middle, a base hit. First base runner of the game for the Angels. 2-out single by Ben Revere.
And he continues to swing the bat well, getting more and more playing time for Ben Revere. stayed back at this four-seam fastball upstairs and lines it right back up the middle. And I think right away you got to think in terms of trying to steal a base. Mentioned 11 stolen bases in 11 attempts against Aaron Nola on the mound. Knapp has thrown out 26% of base stealers.
First time Nola will work from the stretch. Our team Maldonado comes in batting .239.
I mentioned Ben Revere had a solid road trip, 368 batting average on the road, and it could have been a lot higher. Some outstanding defense played against them both in Cleveland and Toronto. Got to the point where, you know, as a hitter, you're swinging the bat well and you're actually smiling, laughing when another great play is made on something you hit hard. You know you have no choice but to smile about that. You just got to continue with that good swing, and good swing first at bat for Ben Revere.
Revere started, then stopped, then still took off. No balls, 2 strikes. Maldonado swinging at that breaking ball.
And that was a straight steal. That wasn't a hit and run. Trying to get that lead and go. Still had a real good jump.
That's hard to do right there.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you do that and stop, you end up taking a step back toward the base.
Yeah, generally that's when a pitcher will either step off or throw over. No pickoffs this season for Nola either.
I think that's a pitch too. If you go back and think about it with Martin Maldonado, he's got an 0-1 count. You see a base runner taking off, has got a good jump on it. It's not a fastball. So why swing at it? Especially when you could tell as a hitter when someone's got a good jump. I get it if it's a fastball, it's in your wheelhouse, pull the trigger. But otherwise, you got a man at second base.
Yeah.
You're going to be in an 0-2 situation, or you're going to make an out on that breaking pitch. Either way, but at least you're getting an opportunity with a man in scoring position. As much as the Angels have run this year, and they've been very successful at it, they're #1. But they would have a ton more stolen bases. It just seems like there's a lot of at-bats,
I think
foul balls.
I think it comes down to a couple different things. The offenses struggle a little bit, especially with runners in scoring position. So they're more apt to be more aggressive and hoping not to be behind in counts. When teams are swinging the bat well, they're okay being behind 0-1, 0-2, 1-2 in counts. So they still feel they have a good chance at the plate. They're going to make a good pass and hit the ball the other way. But when you're struggling, you're more apt to go and be aggressive early on any pitch, early in the bat.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was his changeup. Gets a lot of ground ball outs with his changeup. Although of his 3 pitches, as far as batting average against them, the changeup is the one where hitters have had the most success, and that's only a .276 batting average.
Tried to bring that one back, and it just misses full count. So Revere's going to take off anyway. The next offering. There goes Ben. Maldonado bounces this one over to third. Franco comes in on it. Orioles are done here in the second. We'll head to the third. 1-0 Philadelphia.
let's take a look at our Carl's Cam replay. Look at hot zone for Altair, where you're going to try to pitch him, and that's away. You see the cold zones on the outer part of the plate against him, and Ricky Nolasco trying to stay away. Hot zones, up and in, middle in. Break a ball, down and away. That's exactly where you want to go after him. Break a ball, same plane, a little bit off the outside corner, stays away on that fastball down and gets away on a wild pitch. Then even that baseball that he hit off the end of the bat, a slider that dribbled by and unable to be fielded by Nolasco, was away, staying away from the hot zone, inner part of the plate.
Altair will lead things off here in the third for Philadelphia. 356 batting average in the month of July. That jumped up his overall average to 291. Ended up breaching on the error by Ricky. Stranded on base. It's one thing to look at a heat zone or heat map like that or scouting report. It's another to pitch to it. Have the ability to do that and the confidence to go ahead and do that. Even if it contradicts what you're capable of doing. I know you've talked about it a number of times. The guys that are cold zones are in the top third, and their hot zones are middle to the bottom. For you, it was tough because you're a sinker ball.
Exactly.
Then you got to try to figure out another way to get them out.
You still got to stay to your strength, or you look for one of those other type of pitches where he has struggled this season. And that pitch right there, a slider, is a pitch he has struggled with. Altair's batting average versus slider this season is 235. Show those hot zone, most of them fastballs 354, especially on a sinking fastball. So trying to stay away, trying to throw a break ball, whether it's a curve or slider.
Good off-speed pitch. He goes down. Third strikeout for Ricky. One out here in the third.
Again, those pitches away. That last one, splitter, to get a swing and miss. Foot's down, and that hip's opening up, so he's looking on the inner half of the plate. Real good action, tumbling action on that splitter to get the swing and miss at that pitch in the dirt.
Tommy Joseph, first baseman up. RBI single in the first inning, picked up his 54th run batted in.
That's one of those dangerous get over off speed pitches, right down the heart of the plate.
.257 last year in that rookie campaign. Giants second round pick back in 2009. He came over to Phillies, part of a Hunter Pence trade. So what? Kind of reminds me of, remember Herbert Perry, the third baseman? Rangers?
Yeah, big guy, strong guy.
It looks like it too. That's ripped down the line. So a two-hit game for Joseph on his way to second with a one-out double. Fourth hit allowed by Ricky.
Well, he stayed back on that all-speed pitch very well and turned and hooked it down the line. 22nd double. Actually, that was a two-seamer. He tried to run the outside part of the plate, runs in, and he hooks it down the line. Well hit baseball with the double.
Odubel Herrera, the center fielder, popped out his first time up.
Very hot since the All-Star break. Actually, good power also, extra base power. Fifth 0-2 count of the game for Nolasco, and that front foot, the way he bends that back and then he brings up for a high leg kick. You talk about a lot of things have to go well in that swing as far as the timing mechanism. Never really seen anybody put their foot like that, that front foot laid at that angle. He generates a lot of power in his swing. You would think with that swing, though, you'd have a tough time on a slow pitch, whether changeup, split, or even a slow curveball to stay back on it. But he's going to be quick on a fastball or even a slider.
Joseph at second base with a 1-out double. 1-2 count here on Herrera. You know, sometimes guys with big leg kicks like that, you can exploit one side or the other. More times than not, the outside portion of the play. But it looks like he's got decent coverage.
Yeah,
or lets the ball travel enough to he can cover that outside part. Missed down and away.
Close enough that you could throw a split finger fastball in that same plane and should be able to get a swing and miss against Herrera now if you're Ricky Nolasco, if you execute that well.
Two balls, two strikes with 1 out. No slice of foul.
Now a quick conversation where Herrera's fouled off some pretty tough pitchers' pitches so far. That could be one of those quick conversations. You want to try a four-seam fastball upstairs against him, where a lot of these pitches, 5 of the 6, have been either at the lower part of the strike zone or below in this at bat.
Ground ball back up the middle, and I have no idea how Ricky just gloved that baseball. Was that between the legs?
It just somehow found the glove.
2 down.
The follow through by Nolasco, right back up the middle.
Oh, okay.
He had the glove there.
Yeah, okay. I thought that would be the way he brought the glove down. I thought it went between his legs.
Thought about making a throw to third, but that's always a wise decision. That's a long throw for him, especially on the first base side of the pitching mound. Take that out, the second out of the inning.
Frank goes 0 for 1. He struck out to end the first. Ricky's working at a much slower pace than we've seen this year. 1 ball and strike.
Sharp slider there. Franco didn't like the call. Looked like it was a little bit off the outside corner.
Good off speed, 1-2. One out double for Tommy Joseph. He stands over at third. 54 pitches for Nolasco. 3 strikeouts, no walks. 4 hits allowed. Down 1-0. And he got Franco again. So Joseph stranded in scoring position. We'll head to the bottom of the third. 1-0 fight.
Third inning, I'm Alex Curry, and now that the trade deadline has come and gone, earlier today Angels GM Billy Eppler told me that he was not planning on having an estate sale because he has a handful of players on the horizon that are coming back to join this team that with a good run, they could make a push for that wild card spot, starting with Cameron Maven, who took early batting practice today and ran the bases. He'll do the same thing tomorrow, and then he could start his rehab assignment this weekend. Tyler Skaggs pitched yesterday, got his pitch count finally where it needs to be, and his next start could be with the team. Then Andrew Heaney threw the ball today, got glowing reports on how he looked. Velocity reached 93 and pitched 5 strong innings. So there is an opportunity for them to come back and impact this team, Gooby, along with G. Rich and Shoemaker, who are not far behind them.
Yeah, that's going to be very important. That's the run you want. Obviously, with this homestand, we talked about 9-game homestand. The Angels will play much better at home as compared to on the road. The whole team back, giving it a last shot. They have to make a run at that wild card, especially when you think about getting that starting rotation and that depth back in where they hoped for from the get-go.
Offense has to figure it out on a consistent basis as well. Ramon Flores takes inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ramon was called up today, 25-year-old native of Venezuela. 311 at AAA Salt Lake, 14 doubles, 2 triples, 5 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Signed with the Angels in the offseason. Minor league deal, he'll ground out to start this 3rd inning. So far, the Angels, just going back to that point about trying to make some sort of run for that second wild card spot. Halo's got to find a way to win 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row. This win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2 stuff that's been going on all season long. Not going to get you anywhere because you're falling further and further behind. Not only that, you might be at 5 games back, but then now you've got a bunch of teams in front of you.
Yeah,
you got to leapfrog them.
Every team goes in a stretch where you're going to win 5 or 6 in a row. The Angels have not had that all year, so you anticipate that happening at some point. I mean, even the Phillies are riding a 5-game winning streak. They've been struggling for the most part. They had a 6-game winning streak earlier in the season also. You need to get on one of those long winning streaks, and the key to do that is get some more depth in that starting rotation to go along with the offense getting better.
Coward fouls it off, and his thumb guard goes flying behind home plate. So he's got to retrieve it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. .476 batting average. The big leagues this year. 10 for 21. Go down swinging on the off-speed pitch. 2 down. Hey, join the Angels this Sunday. Oakland is in town. It's a 12:37 start. Fans in attendance receive a trading card pack courtesy of Tops while supplies last. For more information, go to angels.com.
Oh, with that good curveball once again. Batting average against his curveball this season is .222. Able to throw that curveball for a strike, and also when ahead of the count gets a hitter to chase it. He's faced 10 batters so far, 9 first pitch strikes. He said that's been the big turnaround for him his last 7 games. Attacking the strike zone, aggressively getting ahead. When you're able to do that, through those first pitch strikes, that second pitch, you can use it as setup pitch or expand out of the strike zone and get a quick out with it.
1-1. Escobar pulls it through the left side, a base hit. Second hit allowed by Nola. Both have been singles. So a man on with 2 outs and Trout coming up. That's what we were talking about a moment ago as far as the wild card standings. Kansas City in that second spot. New York's playing good baseball. Seattle's picked it up. Tampa Bay. Then Baltimore comes in next week for a 3-game series.
Yeah, Baltimore has won 2 in a row against Kansas City at Camden Yards.
The Angels have 6 against Baltimore. They're done with Tampa Bay. They still have a couple more series against Seattle. They're done with Minnesota.
Done with Kansas City and New York.
John hit a fly ball to right field his first time. Check on Escobar, but time had been called at the plate actually.
Trout is 2 for 18 in his career versus the Phillies. And see if he can get one of those pitches on the lower part of the strike zone and square it up. Nola has not tried a changeup yet against Trout. On that curveball, tried to elevate with his 4-seam fastball.
You know what? Because he works both ways, east-west, that's tough to sit on one particular pitch.
The only thing you do, and Trout does it so well, is track lower part of the strike zone.
There's that slider again. 1-2. By east-west meaning inside, outside.
Yeah, some pitches are real good. You see a lot of guys with Tampa will go upper parts. They're north and south with their pitches.
Escobar with a 2-out single standing at first. 1-2 to Trout. There's that fastball running in.
Yeah, he tried by design, drop that elbow to make sure that pitch was elevated.
Did you ever try that stuff?
Did it work for you? Yeah, that's the only time. I couldn't really go the 4-seam fastball straight over the top. I had to drop and manipulate my elbow enough and drop my wrist where I could run that up. Now I really couldn't control that a whole lot. That's where the majority of my hit by pitches were, on those ones there running in on a right-handed batter.
That's pulled to left field, another base hit. So back-to-back knocks. 2 on, 2 outs for Pujols.
That was an impressive piece of hitting by Mike Trout there. He brought his hands inside on that baseball very, very well and lined that fastball. Tried to run that fastball again, dropped that wrist, runs it in, but brought his hands inside the baseball very well. Short on the swing, gets the foot down, that barrel of the bat, and lines it in the outfield past short third. Just an impressive swing by Trout. Again, I think we say that a lot.
Pujols struck out looking in the first. Back to that Trout base hit, and that running action in on the hands of Trout from home plate.
See how much that baseball movement. And you see where Knapp is actually set up. He's set up almost in the left-handed batter's box, and that runs in. Again, it all comes down to the dropping of the elbow and the wrist to create that running action in.
Slider. 0-2. First opportunity the Angels have had tonight with a man in scoring position. That's pulled down the line, just foul. He locked up Albert in his last plate appearance on a fastball away. Got Escobar standing at second. And Trout at first.
Big thing when you look for a potential winning streak, it's that hitting with runners in scoring position a little bit better on the road trip. We got to continue to do so here at home. An opportunity now for Albert.
Breaking pitch, line to left field, a base hit. Escobar's going to be waved home. Here comes the throw from Williams to the plate. It is in time. Escobar gunned down by Nick Williams in left field. A perfect throw. Socia will have Dino Ebel call Steve Solis downstairs and have a look at it.
It would be potentially his second outfield assist. Williams did a great job getting behind this baseball well on the two-hopper. That's real close. I think he might have got his foot in there.
That was very close.
See from this angle.
They're going to challenge this.
I think he got to. Foot looks like it's on that plate before the tag was applied. See right there, that foot's on the base before the tag. It's around that hip area.
Quinn Walcott, the home plate umpire, making the call. Brian Lenore, the acting crew chief.
Well, it looks like the foot is there on the plate right as the tag is applied on the hip. Back in the day, though, there's no way you're getting around that catcher. But you got to give that path for the slide in home plate. Mike Socia knows that very, very well from his days catching. But that was a very good throw by Williams. Not easy for a left-handed throwing left fielder. Stayed on top of that baseball. You try to throw that into a four-seam type throw as an outfielder. That way you don't have a lot of movement. And that throw is right on the money. But looks like the foot got in there before the tag, but it's real close. Is there enough to show and say he's safe? I think it's worth the challenge.
And you mentioned that it's a little bit more difficult for left-hand throwing left fielders because of the ball, the potential of the baseball tailing toward the first base side of things. And it makes it that much more difficult for a catcher as opposed to a right-hander who would tail toward a runner.
Garrett Anderson threw that throw from left field as a left-handed thrower as well as anybody I've ever seen. It stayed true and didn't run up that first base line a whole lot.
So the call at the plate is out. It's taken an awful long time to look at this, which never really a good sign. If they overturn it, we're tied at 1. If not, we'll go to the 4th with Phillies up 1-0.
Usually the longer it takes, more difficult it's going to be to see it reverse the call. Almost end up being that the call stands. Fans are chanting safe.
Headsets are coming off. Brian Lenore, the acting crew chief, says Escobar is out. So Williams gets credit for the assist. We will head to the 4th inning. Philadelphia leads it 1-0. City is 6th-ranked Sergio Pettis faces off against 7th-ranked Brandon Moreno. UFC Fight Night Saturday at 4 Pacific on FS1. Top of the 4th, Philadelphia leads at 1-0. And wouldn't you know it, Nick Williams, the man who just threw out Yunel Escobar to end the bottom of the 3rd, leads things off.
He charged that so well. Perfect throw. Put himself in a very good throwing position to make the strike to the plate.
Williams, 23-year-old from Galveston, Texas. 277 on the season. Struck out his first time up. Part of the Cole Hamels deal back in 2015.
You talk about a perfect technique, charging the baseball, and the angle he was taking, going towards the target at home, to Hopper, to the plate, gets the out.
I think
Escobar.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's the best angle there.
That he was,
it appears that he was saved.
I thought he was saved.
The explanation from New York says that the replay official could not definitively determine that the runner touched home plate prior to the catcher making the call. It's called stance.
I think when it comes down to the foot is by the plate, is it on the plate? I guess that's the explanation.
Or the excuse.
Yeah.
However you want to look at it. Uni is not the fastest of guys on the base paths. It took a perfect throw to get him. Williams delivered. 2-2. That's line to center, and that is going to fall in for a base hit. They try to sneak a fastball.
It was elevated enough where Williams did a nice job himself of keeping his hands through the baseball very well. After a couple swings early in that at bat where he chased splitters out of the strike zone.
Kim doubled into the right field corner in the 2nd inning, eventually stranded at 3rd. The only run in this game coming in the 1st inning. RBI single by Tommy Joseph.
Pretty big lead. Yeah, he was going, he was leaning. Maldonado has thrown out 43% of base stealers this season.
He may have jammed his hand or shoulder.
See him leaning, diving back. Jam that hand going in. Still another big lead at 1st. Seventh time in this game so far for Nolaski, who's been ahead of the count 0-2. He has thrown a lot of off-speed pitches, whether it's a splitter, slider, or curveball in the game to this point.
Out towards shallow right center. Flores moving over, but Trout calls him on. 1 down.
So important for Trout to call that ball right away with Flores making that first start. Big league level here with the Angels tonight. Used to Cole Calhoun out in right field. Flores is going to want to get to anything hit in the air. Trout right away. The communication runs that one down.
Andrew Knapp at the plate. 0 for 1. He hit a fly ball off left field his first time up. Good off-speed pitch.
It's pretty safe to assume, Victor, the scouting reports on the Phillies, they like to hit the fastball.
Yep.
A lot of off-speed pitches, especially first pitch off-speed from Nolasco tonight.
Andrew's dad, Mike Knapp, Angels draft pick back in 1986 at a Cal. Andrew also at a Cal, second round pick in 2013. His dad never quite got to the big leagues. AAA many years. Back when the Angels had Edmonton as their AAA affiliate. Ground ball to second. Coward comes in on it. Simmons for one to relay back, and that's in time. A double play. Nice play by Coward. Now for catcher can get down the line a little bit. Nice start by Coward. We're at the bottom of the fourth. 1-0 Philadelphia. Aaron Nola has been very good. Take a look at this pitch, and Mike Trout got the base hit on. We were talking about the running action on the fastball from Nola. He can go both ways there. This is a good angle here too. He gets underneath that, kind of get that two-seam action in on the hands, and you're going to show us exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens that when you're trying to get that elbow, you drop that elbow just enough where it creates where the wrist is at, and that fastball can go like this type of action. Put your hand on top of it, then you have sink action, but to run that in against a right-hander, keep that elbow down, the wrist, and it creates this type of action will run in on a right-handed batter like you saw with Trout. Did a good job as far as bringing his hands inside, but that late movement on a fastball makes it very difficult to track it real well.
You stick it on with four-seam, or you go two-seam?
No, that's a four-seamer because he's throwing like this, and then the other one he wants on top of that sinker. That's when you try to get it down in the strike zone.
Valbuena to lead things off. He'll be followed by Simmons and Revere. The Angels got 3 straight hits against Nola in the third inning, but Escobar thrown out to end the third. There's that pitch. Well, that was an off-speed pitch, but similar type action. Luis grounded out his first time up.
He gets a ton of ground balls with his changeup.
Valbuena hits one high and deep towards center. Herrera moving back. Now stepping onto the cinders on the warning track. One away. Just got underneath it. Doesn't happen much. That's just the second fly ball out that Nola has thrown tonight. And here comes Simmons, who grounded out his first time at the plate. Two strikeouts, no walks, 4 hits allowed for Nola.
Nola, in the month of July, I talked about his numbers: 34 innings pitched, just 2 home runs allowed. When you pitch a lot of your games at Citizen Bank Park in Philadelphia, 2 home runs allowed in 34 innings, that's impressive. Here's that curveball once again for Nola against Andrelton Simmons. First at bat in the 2nd inning. A good breaking ball going out in front, breaks the bat, 78-mile-an-hour curveball. Good downward action towards the end of the bat, take the sting end of the bat. It's a weak ground ball out. And he's standing with a lot of curveballs against Andrelton Simmons. Andrelton Simmons' numbers versus a fastball, that's 2-seam and 4-seam fastball, 342, but only 172 versus a curveball. We just showed you the first at bat, and you're seeing a number of curveballs in this at bat. Sticking with the numbers here, 172 is compared to 342. That's almost a show pitch. I'd be real surprised if he threw another fastball here to Simmons. See that fastball and then curveball, fastball off the outside part of the plate.
Breaking pitch, bounce toward third. Franco's got it.
You're out.
That's a pretty good arm.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It's got some giddy up on it.
I guess that's why he's turned 16 double plays. We talked about him on the defensive side. That is a power arm out of third base for Franco.
The offensive thing doesn't work out for him. I'd put him on the bump.
Yeah. So he's really thrown a lot of curveballs so far to Andrelton Simmons, who had a fantastic month of July. And Revere really had a solid season with the Phillies back in 2014, including 49 stolen bases.
Ben's 1 for 1. He had a single up the middle in the 2nd.
Talked about the need to get in with hitter's count. It's a hitter's count now for Ben Revere. Pretty good Hackett of fastball. Numbers against Nola this season on a 2-1 count when the baseball has been put into play. 353. So a good count now to sit on the pitch here for Ben Revere once again.
Pulled through the right side. Yes. Nice effort by Cesar Hernandez, but it's a 2-out single, and Revere with a multi-hit game. Puts it down from Maldonado.
And on that 2-1 count, hitters have had success against Nola this season. Just off the glove, Hernandez. And that angle he took going in the outfield, even if he's able to field that cleanly, it's going to be a difficult play to get up and throw and get Ben Revere at first base.
Maldonado 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up in the 2nd inning. That ended the 2nd.
I wonder if Maldonado will allow Ben Revere to steal on this first pitch, take a pitch.
Revere takes off to throw down from Knapp is not in time.
Uh-oh. I don't know if he jammed his finger in on the base as he had that head first slide. Pretty good jump. Knapp got a lot behind that throw. A perfect throw. The foot was blocking the base. Hernandez blocked the base with his foot. And you see that head first, the hand off the cleat and then into the base. Picking up his 13th stolen base. You know, base stealers successful 12 of 12 against Nola this season.
One. Pop up first base side headed towards. Oh, nice catch. Oh, bare hand. Old school logo hat. That was your hat?
Yes.
Well, not the hat, but the logo.
Yes, indeed. That was a nice play.
Oh, no spillage either.
No. Saved a few fans in front of him.
Yeah, hello, ladies. That's how you make the introduction. Just make a big play. Save them. Two balls, two strikes. Man in scoring position. Two balls, two strikes on Maldonado with 2 outs here in the fourth. 1-0 Philadelphia. They got a run back in the first.
Pretty good swing at that fastball. Maldonado can hit that ball well to right center field. That's the type of pitch you can punch that ball to the gap in right center field. More of a flat fastball there from Nola. Hasn't done that often in this game.
Outfield playing shallow. Martin check swing. Did not go. Brian O'Nora with the call. Full count. Both Flores on deck. .66 pitches for Aaron Nola. Louisiana native. How about that? It's from Baton Rouge. Last name Nola.
Yes.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
How do you do it? How do you put it all together?
Isn't that crazy?
LSU.
That's it. Rolls it foul. I noticed too just a moment ago. He's on the mound. He's got that glove. He's got the Ben McDonald string going.
Ben McDonald went to LSU.
Yeah, he was an LSU product.
Yes.
You look right. That long string. That Ben McDonald used to have that for the longest time.
And so often, you know, during the course of a game, especially when he's on a roll like that, your opposing manager will say, "Oh, that's a distraction."
Yeah.
And either cut it or tie it back up.
Ran that one in on the hands. Joseph squeezes it, and the Angels leave a man in scoring position. We're through 4, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Time to buy a new Hyundai than now. See your local Hyundai dealer or visit buyhyundai.com.
Phillies up 1-0, top of the 5th here at the Big A, the opening game of a 9-game homestand. 3 against the Phils, 3 against the A's, 3 against the Orioles before heading out on a long road trip to Seattle, Washington, and Baltimore. 1, 2, 3 coming up for the Fightins. Hernandez, Galvis, and Altair. Hernandez with an infield base hit and a run scored in the first. Reached down the air by Coward in the second. So he's 1 for 2. Ball and a strike. Escobar in on the grass at third base, guarding against a potential bunt. 1-2.
Good fastball there. Hitter looking off speed, gets a fastball instead. Again, that's what we say. Rick Nolasco is at his best when he's pitching backwards. When hitters are looking fastball, he's able to throw his secondary pitches, and vice versa when they're looking secondary pitches.
Out to right. Here comes Flores. 1 down. Leadoff man retired. We'll bring up Freddie Galvis, a shortstop. Not a bad crowd tonight. I wonder how many get scared off by the little Thunder Boomer storm that kind of rolled through here. Wiped out BP. Tarp was on the field. I'd forgotten that the Angels actually had a tarp.
I'm sure the groundskeepers probably thought the same. That thing is there? Oh, yeah, that's right. It is there.
Last time the Angels had a rain out here was in July of 2015. Boston Red Sox were in town. That was a Sunday night game. It worked out because it was a 4-game series, a wraparound series with Boston. They ended up staying till Monday, so they played a doubleheader on Monday.
It's a pretty heavy rain that night. I remember the Sunday night watching.
They waited a while too, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Full count. No walks allowed by Nolasco as of yet. He struck out 4. He's allowed 5 hits. Both teams with 5 hits tonight. 3-2. Got a fastball up. It's the first 3-ball count that Nolasco's had tonight. And he ends up walking him. First free pass. Altair will bat with a man on. And 1 out. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP.
Galvis with pretty good speed, 9 stolen bases. They caught once.
Altair reached on the arrow by Nolasco in the first inning, struck out in the third, so he's 0 for 2 thus far. He's the Phillies right fielder. This is a team too. It's kind of a, you hear about trap games. I think it's a trap series. The Phillies obviously have struggled all season long, yet
They've picked up some wins here of late, 5 consecutive victories, including a sweep of the Atlanta Braves. And when you look at the schedule as fans, you sit there and go, okay, we should do this or we should do that, as this was grounded to short. Simmons gets rid of it quickly. Coward's throw to second in time, a double play. So you got to be careful.
Yes.
With a team like the Philadelphia Phillies. They've got nothing to lose. They got a bunch of young players starting to get hot. Nice double plays. We hit at the bottom of the 5th. Halos down 1-0. In town for 9, Phillies, A's, Orioles, and it's back out on the road. 4 against Seattle, an off day in D.C. 2 against the Nats, a night game and then a day game on that Wednesday. Off day on the 17th, then the Orioles for 3 before returning home.
The Nationals could breathe a little easier. Max Scherzer left the game after throwing a pitch and being a stiff neck. Reason why he left the game. Obviously always going to be concerned about the arm. Max Scherzer, how many pitches he has thrown.
That was after a 3-run bomb that he hit. Got cramped neck. So he hits a home run. I'm good. I'm done. 1 second inning, I'm done.
The pinnacle at that point.
They ended up, Nationals had a 6-0 lead. The Marlins came back and won that game.
There was a lot of runs scored in and around baseball tonight, including that Boston game. The Cubs are really playing well right now, defending champs.
Oh, Boston ended up winning that game 12-10, huh?
Yeah, 3-run home run. Walk-off variety.
Well, Flores 0 for 1. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Going back, these are the counts hitters have had some success against Nola this season, including the last time up for Ben Revere, in which he got a base hit on a 2-1 count.
Our old friend Joe Smith pitched in that game, went 2 innings. Back with Cleveland. Bouncer toward first. Joseph has it. It's a fair ball, 1 out.
Yeah, I talked to Joe up in Toronto, and he thought his name was out there as far as maybe moving somewhere else, and he was hoping the place he was going to be moved to was home, Cleveland. Obviously dealing with his mom and her situation, be close to home. Perfect scenario for Joe Smith, and he's thrown the ball very well, including a lot of strikeouts this season for Joe Smith.
No balls on strike on Caleb Coward, who struck out in the 3rd. 1 of 2 strikeouts for Nola.
Nola really has good balance over the pitching rubber and drives towards that plate very, very well. Under control. that changeup he has.
Cal remains at a ball and 2 strikes. Philadelphia with a run on 5 hits has stranded 5. Halos, no runs, 5 hits, 2 errors, and 4 men left on base. Out toward left, Williams, long run in, calling for it. 2 down. Saturday rookie sensation Cody Bellinger and the Dodgers take on Yoenis Cespedes and the New York Metropolitans. Dodgers Mets beginning Saturday at noon Pacific on FS1.
Dodgers made some noise, obviously picking up Yu Darvish just before the trade deadline yesterday. Also picked up Tony Watson, left-handed reliever from the Pirates. Pretty solid lefty.
Escobar 1 for 2 with a single and a ground down. Well, we were just talking about the scoreboard. Seattle ended up beating Texas tonight 8-7. 4th consecutive win for the Mariners. Houston lost to Tampa Bay. Bouncer toward the third base coach's box.
McCullers on the DL. A number of players on the DL for the Astros. Eric Munson, trainer for the Angels, coming out quickly to see how Escobar along with Mike Scioscia. Like right off the top of the foot. Get that stride down, foot down, and then the foul ball right off the top of the foot. Escobar trying to walk it off. I can only imagine he's going to throw a sinker right back inside again.
One, 1-2. Escobar doesn't like that call.
Looked like a little bit off the outside corner. Got a half a baseball off the corner.
Breaking pitch off the end of the bat, shallow center field, and that is perfectly placed. Another 2-out hit for the Angels. Brings up Trout. Second hit of the night for you now.
See if Trout anticipating a first pitch fastball will jump on that first pitch.
Trout 1 for 2, a fly ball to right and a single.
Back-to-back change-ups inside. Trout fouled that one off the leg. Trout's been real successful on a 1-1 count when he was put it in play this season. .579 batting average when he puts it in play with 3 home runs on a 1-1 count.
One missed off the plate. .27 facing .27 with someone who just turned 27 out in right center field. Two on. 3-1.
Another changeup inside.
85 pitches down thrown by Nola. We're just in the 5th. You can see that hat is absolutely drenched on this muggy night.
3-1 counts. Trout has been very successful also when put in play .500 batting average.
There's a walk, first of the night. So 2 on, 2 outs for Pujols.
Now it's time for the cold hard facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Sunday with a multi-home run game for Albert Pujols, giving him 56 in his career, past Jimmy Fox on the all-time list for his most multi-home run games. The Babe at the top with 72. Barry Bonds at 71.
Albert, last time up, delivered a base hit with a man at second base. That man was Escobar. He's now thrown out to end the 3rd. Angels challenged the call, and the call stood. That's why we're still at 1-0 Philadelphia. Pujols 1 for 2.
Both pitchers issuing their first walk of the game in this inning. Ricky Nolasco had his first walk in the 5th. Same thing with Aaron Nola.
And both pitchers have thrown a lot of pitches too. We're just in the 5th. Breaking ball for a strike. Base hit for Albert in that 3rd inning. His 2,915th of his career. He's 40th all time. Kyle Simmons up next at 29-29. What?
Pujols fans showed Albert and what he did on Sunday on our opening today, and there was pitches on the lower part of the strike zone. Been pretty effective on a sinker this season. .333 batting average with 6 home runs for Pujols on a pitch in the lower part of the strike zone.
He'll shoot this one to right field and toward the corner. That should score 2. Escobar's in. Trout's being waved around. It is a 2-1 Angels lead as Pujols ends up at second with a 2 RBI double.
And it's good to see Albert going the other way and driving in 2, giving him 65 RBI on the season. It's a fastball lower part of the strike zone. It's our top tier play brought to you by Arco. It flattened out. He tried to go that 2-seamer, stay on top and run it back on the corner. Stayed flat, and Albert didn't try to pull it. And he lines it to right field. Picking up his 11th double, 64th and 65th RBI. Trout coming all the way around from first to score the go-ahead run.
Well, finally coming through here with a 2-out big hit. Double for Albert, is 613th of his career. He's 12th all time on that list. And now with 1,882 career runs batted in. 10th all time. Willie Mays up next.
Brian McClure, the pitching coach for the Phillies, done a pretty solid job for this team this season, considering the youth for this pitching staff. Also been a pitching coach with the Royals and the Red Sox. 4th year as a Phillies pitching coach.
All 7 hits for the Angels tonight with 2 outs. Valbuena takes a strike. Luis 0 for 2. He's grounded out and hit a fly ball to center.
A former Angel himself, Bob McClure, 89 through 91.
Ground ball to second. That's actually with the shift off. Shortstop Freddie Galvis, and the inning comes to an end. But Albert with a big 2 RBI double, giving the Angels a 2-1 lead here in the 5th.
And a big game with the bat on Sunday comes through again. Almost had an RBI. His last bat this time he drives in 2 with that double to right.
Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is being brought to you by Carson Toyota. Come see the difference a family-owned dealership can make. Halos up 2-1 as we start the 6th inning. Pujols with a big 2-out double, giving the Angels the lead.
Well, the pitches thrown, Victor, so far for Nolasco, and what he has used as far as his fastball, 39% curveball, 9, that's that knuckle curve slider and splitter. A lot more splitters than normal tonight, 28%. You look at his average coming into this game, about 12% for a splitter, 49% fastball, so down 10% fastball use. Secondary pitches have been pretty solid.
Facing Tommy Joseph, who has 2 hits tonight, a single and a double. He's also picked up an RBI. 1 ball, 1 strike. .82 pitches thrown by Ricky. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. 5 hits allowed.
It's a good slider there. 55 of the 83 pitches he's thrown have been strikes.
Full count. And there's ball 4. So a leadoff walk to start the 6th inning.
Now let's take a look at our tools at the trade with Herrera coming to the plate. Brought to you by Ram Trucks. He is the ultimate bat flipper. Even when the baseball has not left the building, he will flip that bat. Tremendous power going the other way, but even on a walk, the bat flip, but he went to the wrong side of the field on that one.
Yeah, the Marlins on the third base side there. No bueno.
We saw Valbuena with the walk in the bat flip.
Man, what a bunt. Nothing Escobar can do there. You talk about deadening a pitch. And Herrera's on board, so the first 2 have reached to start the 6th inning.
It's the perfect bunt right down that third base line. Nothing that Escobar can do on that one. Carlos Nagy calling down to the bullpen that leadoff walk. Even when you go back to that 9th inning in Toronto, a leadoff walk, it changes the complexion of an inning. Now Nagy going to go out to a visit to give the bullpen an opportunity to get ready quickly.
I honestly thought they'd have somebody going from the get-go. You know, it's not like Ricky's been pinpoint accurate today. Keenan's going to be the first guy up.
And part of it too is when you think about how many pitches he threw his last time out. Season high. Most he had thrown in a number of seasons too for Nolasco. Although Nolasco has had 7 0-2 counts in this game. He hasn't been able to finish off the hitters necessarily quickly ahead of the count like that.
Franco for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He's blocked by Martin. Ricky the last 2 innings has been helped out with a double play ball. Two and 0.
Well, now you've put a very good fastball hitter in a very favorable fastball count.
Two 0. There's a strike into the knees.
Well, when you look at Franco where he's located in that batter's box, he is right on top of the plate. Rule of thumb though, you would think when you see a batter right on top of the plate, you could pitch him inside. He's still looking for a pitch on the inner half of the plate. See right there how close he is to the plate. And he's still trying to even pull a pitch that it's away. So he's looking to do damage on the inner half of the plate.
I think it's a product too. If you look at the 25 home runs he hit last year, clearly a strong guy to get the ball out of the ballpark, but gets into that pull happy mode.
When you do that as a hitter, you're susceptible to hard breaking balls going down and away. Just don't miss in against them.
2-2. He just got away with that fastball. I don't know why he tried to throw him a fastball, but he did. Gets the out. One down. Runners remain at first and second.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. You don't want to throw a pitch, and he just missed that one. Away for the most part, and then he runs his fastball in. He just pulled off it enough where you see the frustration by Franco throwing the bat away, knew when he had a pitch. He hit a long way. Still mad in the dugout.
He had two pitches. Really, the foul ball that he pulled was a hanging breaking ball. He just pulled off of it, and then that fastball.
And if you're J.C. Ramirez, you're watching this game, you're going to remember that, staying away. If you're going to throw him in, it's going to be way off the plate just for effect, but stay away.
Nick Williams 1 for 2. So he'll pull this one off his foot. Shallow left. Revere broke back, has to come in. 2 down.
And just no let up right here now for Nolasco. If there's 2 outs, got to stay focused. Try to put up that 0, that shutdown inning. It's a good conversation by Martin Maldonado.
2 outs, 2 on. 2-1 Angels. We're in the 6th inning. Here's Kim. Doubled into the corner in the second, hit a fly ball to center in the 4th. Phillies DH. Cowher down in shallow right. Good off-speed pitch.
Another off-speed pitch. We showed that graphic earlier. 61% of Nolasco's pitches tonight have been his secondary pitches. 39% fastball, but for the most part, it's been effective. He probably gets a swing and miss on that off-speed pitch if it's away. Out of the strike zone, but down middle in.
Another 1-2. Just outside, no fastball. Right at 100 pitches now. Down goes Kim. First 2 get on, and they're stranded on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Angels up 2-1. Could be Tuesdays coming up next.
what is your go-to favorite pizza place?
Well, I got to go with my son-in-law's spot, North Restaurant here in Irvine. They got them all over the United States. He's a pizza guy. He's a pizza guru, so that is my place. So
my favorite pizza place growing up was called Paisanos. Good sauce, good cheese, good bread, good people. Good, you know what I mean?
For all those Angel fans coming out to spring training, you have to go to Scottsdale and go to Cafe Pino and get the Calabria pizza. It's kind of a meat lovers, Italian meat lovers. Amazing.
Always a huge fan of pizza back in Philadelphia, my area. Alex's Pizza, but Ray's Pizza in New York is always one of the all-time greats too. But Mulberry Street Pizza here in LA, in Encino area, I love that pizza. I can have pizza almost every single day. I know it's not probably the best thing in the world for us, Victor, but I'll tell you what, pizza, that's always on the top of our list.
It's always a go-to food.
Yes, love it.
When in doubt. Andleton went around there. No balls and a strike.
This is a changeup that wasn't fully committed to thinking about turning on that pitch, but made contact. By the way, that Alex Pizza place back in Philly is a place where Terry Smith used to go quite a bit back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yes,
Simmons, base hit to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning.
See, Simba just needed to talk about, let's talk about some pizza. You know, with a 10-game hit streak with that base hit.
And that being said, it's tough to jack up pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Ray's Pizza though in New York though.
Yeah.
We like it.
It's good.
You have a favorite pizza place you go to? All good?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really hard to mess. I mean, there's some places you'd rather go somewhere else just from the chain standpoint, but pizza, I'll take pizza anytime.
No, you ate, that thick crust or thin crust?
No,
guy?
I'm not a big, like the
Chicago style.
Sometimes we get that on the plane. Where's that one from? Where's that from? Geno's? No. Is it Geno's? Sometimes we get that on the plane. That's actually really good.
Yes, it is pretty
Maybe
good.
because it's like a personal size.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not like, the wood-fired pizza is pretty good too. Revere lofting this one out to left center. Long run in for Herrera. The last second calls off Williams, 1 out. Simmons stays at first base. Ben's 2 for 3. Here's a big pizza guy, Mike Butcher.
Really?
He's got a wood-fired oven in his back
that's
backyard.
right, he does.
Yeah.
He does. That's great pizza that way. If you get a chance, Mulberry Street Pizza, it's really good. It has that New York flavor to it, obviously. Ray's Pizza-like. Big slices. Good stuff.
Maldonado grounded out in the second, popped down in the fourth, 0 for 2.
Thing about Philadelphia, there's a pizza place or a cheesesteak place that seems to be on every corner back there.
That's pretty much any big city in the Northeast, right?
All those good things for you. Big lead for Simba going back.
And as always on Twitter, we get all the recommendations. Pizza from all over the place.
Love it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Martin Maldonado. Simmons over at first.
Big lead. Still going back to the base.
Are you a pizza snob? Meaning that now that you've tried all those other pizzas that you don't do the chain, the
I'll do that
national
too.
chains?
No, I'll do that too, yes. I think you know me pretty well by now. I could pretty much have a pizza every night.
Anytime.
Yes.
Cheese.
Yeah, I'm like
You want pepperoni sauce? No, cheese, fine.
I'm Kevin from Home Alone. Just give me that
pizza, please.
cheese pizza and I'm good.
Time call. This is when we go to some of these restaurants that have the artisan pizzas.
Yes.
Just watching you order is great.
Yeah, can I have the cheese?
No
the
tomatoes.
sauce?
None of that green stuff that you kind of sprinkle on top. Just I want the dough, the sauce, and the cheese.
Yeah. Make it easy on them.
Fell off one or two.
Their looks are fantastic. Looking like, really? How old are you?
Some people want us to stop talking about pizza.
Do they want us? Okay.
Yeah. Others don't want us to keep talking about it.
Well, I prefer here at a baseball in the gap and watch Anthony Simmons run around the bases.
Holding a slice of pizza.
No,
that would show me something.
That would be talent.
Rounding third, and Renicky hands off a slice of cheese, and he's sucking it down as he crosses the plate.
If anybody can do it, Simba can do it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Flores on deck.
That was pitch number 100 for Aaron Nola. He's been around the strike zone nearly 70%, 69% strikes.
I'm just reading some of the responses. Good lead for Anderton over at first. Takes off this time. 2-2, and this was fouled back. This one is coming back just below us.
Next pitch will be the 8th pitch in this at bat for Martin Maldonado. The more pitches you see during a sequence, the better chance you're going to get one of those mistakes. He's made a couple of them in this at bat. A couple pitches down the middle of the plate.
Oh, he got him with a breaking ball.
He went a quick pitch too.
2 down.
He hadn't been holding the baseball very long as a batter and as a base runner. He was quick on that one and got Maldonado out in front. And Simmons unable to go on that pitch. Gets a swing and miss on his curveball once again. It's been very effective for him.
Flores 0 for 2, twice as grounded out. Spent last year with the Brewers. His Angels debut.
And no pickoffs this season for Aaron Nola, but he does have a pretty quick move to first.
Phillies trying to get Nola through the 6th inning here. 2-1 Angels. 2 out, 2 RBI double by Albert Pujols in the 5th. With the Angels a 2-1 lead.
Stayed pretty consistent with his velocity on his fastball tonight. 104th pitch of the game, 93 miles an hour. Sid coming in, he's 90 to 95 range. He's settled in there pretty much with his fastball all night. Throwing a lot of pitches over the first base also.
You'd think Ricky Henderson was at first base. One ball, 2 strikes. Boy, Nola really just slows the game down, doesn't he? The guy throws a lot of strikes.
Especially with when he has runners on base. Susceptible to the stolen base. But what you look for as a base runner against a pitcher in his pickoffs, it seems to be about the same time he is thrown over there. He hasn't even got to this point where a lot of times you'll see as a right-handed pitcher, you'll throw over quickly like right now. He seems like gets in that set position, holds it for about a second or two, and then he'll make his throw to first.
Simmons takes off. Flores bounces one back. Nola's got it. Leadoff single stranded at first. We're headed to the 7th inning. Angels leading it 2-1.
Baseball break. What a game up in Boston. Christian Vasquez 3-run walk-off home run as the Red Sox beat the Indians 12-10. Cleveland had scored 2 in the top of the 9th to take the lead, but 3-run home run walk-off style. Seattle talked about it a little bit earlier. The Texas 4 straight wins on a game-and-a-half back in the wild card race. Our showstopper around the majors. Speaking of that game in Boston, Hanley Ramirez thinks he has a home run. Austin Jackson back to the wall, leaps, flips over, a la Torrey Hunter in the playoffs against David Ortiz. Hanley Ramirez thinks he's got a home run, but Jackson leaps, catches, flips over, and maintains control of the baseball. What a play by Austin Jackson. Wow, what a play.
Keenan Middleton takes over here in the 7th with the Angels on top 2-1.
By the way, that was Chris Sale versus Carlos Carrasco in that game, in the 12-10.
How'd that pitcher's matchup work out?
You know the numbers for Cleveland against Chris Sale? I think he was like 4-6 or 4-7 in his career against Cleveland for Chris Sale. Not real good numbers. Didn't have it his best stuff today also.
9-1-2 coming up for Philadelphia. Knapp, Hernandez, and Galvis. Middleton pitching in his 37th game. 2-0 and a 4.50 ERA. Last pitched on Sunday. Saturday, pardon me. 1 inning, gave up 2 runs, 2 hits, 32 pitches. One ball, 1 strike. Nolasco, by the way, went 6 innings, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 run. It was earned. One and 2. Knapp tonight 0 for 2. Fly ball to left, double play ball. Out to left, Revere has to go back, and it's over his head. Knapp on his way to second. He is in there with a leadoff double.
Look at hanging breaking ball. Initially going in on the baseball for Ben Revere. Revere then tried to go back on it, unable to catch up to that baseball. Said it looked like it was going to be a routine out. Ends up being a leadoff double.
Eighth double of the year for Knapp. Top of the order now, and Cesar Hernandez. 1 for 3 so far tonight. Keenan trying to put the month of July behind him. Made 9 appearances in July, no record. A 7.88 ERA. Went 8 innings, gave up 12 hits, 7 runs, including 3 home runs. And unfortunately here he gets charged with the double instead of recording it out. Hernandez fouls it back. 0-1. Ground ball towards short. Simmons has it. And that little hesitation, did it cost him? No. Hernandez thinks he's got himself an infield base hit, but for whatever reason, Angelton tried a little jump throw fake to second.
Well, he needed a lot on that throw to make that throw and make it close. See if the Phillies will challenge it.
Eric Boa.
He got a lot on that throw. They're going to challenge.
This play is under review. Presented by
Got to take the out at first.
See if that baseball is in the glove. Looks like that foot is going to be real close to getting down. And so he's safe. And yet another infield hit for Hernandez.
This will get overturned. And yet again, 2 batters up. Keenan should have 2 outs. Instead, he's got first and second with nobody out. This shouldn't take long at all.
See right here, the foot is on the base for Balbuena is able to secure that baseball. And it looks like they're going to be quick with that, potentially.
First and second, nobody out. Call gets overturned. Freddie Galvis will bat with 2 on. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Imagine he's going to spin around and try to drop down a bunt. Altair's on deck.
2 sacrifice bunts this season.
Escobar in on the grass. Balbuena the same at first base. Not bunting. Fouls it off. 0-1. Juan Samuel, the third base coach, flashing the signs.
My old teammate. Juan Samuel had some excellent years at the plate. He was automatic double figures in home runs, doubles, triples, stolen bases almost every year. 3-time All-Star. Yeah, 4 straight years of doing that. Double figures in all those categories.
Fouled in and out of the glove. So a foul tip.
Another slider up in the strike zone. I think that's why you're seeing a quick conversation with Martin Maldonado to Keenan Middleton. More of a flat slider than the normal tilt he gets with his good slider going down in the strike zone as compared to staying flat in the upper part of the strike zone.
Oh, 2 again. This is out towards center field. It's going to hang up for Trout. 1 down. Throw comes to third. In there safely is Knapp.
You talked about that speed for Knapp. Pretty good speed, good base running. Tag up on the ball, hit pretty well to center field, but it was right center field. Trout has to catch out to the glove side, spin around, and then throw back to third. But you still have a double play in order.
Altair is 0 for 3. Reached on the error of the first, struck out in the third, double play ball in the 5th.
And the Angels have already turned 2 double plays. Would love to make that 3.
No balls on strike. 7 hits for Philadelphia, 8 for the Angels. Action down the Angels pen. Keenan at 12 pitches. Good fastball upstairs, 0-2. Technically, he's thrown 3 outs. Only 1 has been recorded as Blake Parker starts to crank it up. The 0-2 upstairs.
Try to get him to chase a fastball up and away. Staying away from that hot zone on the inner half of the plate. Altair likes the fastball middle in. Middleton can get that punch out. There's a chance to get one now with the breaking ball going down and away.
There's the 1-2. Got him. Foul tipped into the mid. 2 down.
Big punch out there for Middleton. 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's away from that hot zone from Altair. Gets a swing and miss. Big out. So a very hot hitter at the plate now for the Phillies, and Joseph. 2 hits already and a walk.
Joseph is 2 for 2. He's been on board 3 times. Single, double, and a walk. RBI. And that is over at first base. Knapp at third. Left it on the first base shot. Hit it out of play. No balls and a strike. Oh, 2 count. Keenan trying to get out of the 7th inning. Napa double over the head of Ben Revere. Misplayed the ball. Hernandez with an infield base hit. He's got the next 2 batters. Liner out to center and a strikeout. Foul back.
That was a mistake. Maldonado was set up away. Even though that was an upper 90s fastball, it was right over the heart of the plate. Now a conversation with everybody in the infield right now.
Seriously?
The one conversation that could be just in case Hernandez is on the move, stops, tries to draw a throw to second, and try to go home on a double steal at third.
With an 0-2 count, I wouldn't care about the guy go to second. Let him go. Called strike 3. Got him with a slider. Stretch time here at the Big A, and the Angels maintain their 2-1 lead.
Boy, he stayed on top of this breaking ball. At 93-mile-an-hour slider, his best slider at the right moment for Keenan Middleton. No damage.
7th inning. Nice job by Keenan Middleton. Did not let the two plays that led to the first two guys getting on base bother him. Came back and got the last 3 outs, including 2 punch outs to end the inning. So a nice effort by Keenan Middleton today. Tonight to keep it a 2-1 lead. MLB.TV Premium back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just go to MLB.TV for details. Right-hander Mark Leiter, the 26-year-old, takes over on the mound for Aaron Nola. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it is. Mark Leiter, his dad, the former big league pitcher, his uncle Al Leiter. Mark
Leiter
takes over here.
Pitch for the Angels. Yeah. Mark Leiter Jr. fastball, 90-93. Throw a cutter, curveball, slider, and changeup. Will also throw a split finger fastball.
Leiter, 26 years of age. I believe I remember him because Mark, his dad, pitched for me when I was the GM/broadcaster of the Newark Bears. 22nd round pick out of NJIT. Good old NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology in Newark. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 17th big league game, 1-2 and a 4.25 ERA. Facing Caleb, 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a fly ball to left. That's back toward the middle. Coward with a base hit. So leadoff man on board for the Angels for the 2nd consecutive inning.
Still like it when I'm seeing that approach and swing from Coward, how quiet his hands are and threw the baseball so well. This little splitter. Stays up in the strike zone, but didn't try to pull it. Stayed back on a well. Short, compact swing now for Coward. Lines it up the middle for a single.
Aaron Nola, by the way, with 6 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's got a streak of 8 starts with 6 or more innings, 2 earned runs or fewer. Now tied with Cliff Lee for 4th best in Phillies history.
Impressive run he's been on. Tell you what, he can pitch. He's not 98 with his fastball, but he controls his fastball very, very well. His curveball outstanding. Changeup gets a lot of ground ball outs with it.
The changeup, I think, has been the big difference for him. This was fouled off the hand of Knapp.
And the thing he does well, he throws his changeup in against right-handed batters. Generally, you never used to see that before from a right-handed pitcher, a changeup in. Knapp trying to walk that one off.
One-two count on you now. 2 for 3 with a couple of singles and a run scored. And got him with the breaking ball.
71-mile-an-hour curveball. Very difficult for a hitter to stay back on that pitch. Not real comfortable with that swing, holding the side as he walks back. Escobar.
And join the Angels Friday. Oakland A's in town. Fans in attendance receive a Trout MVP season bobblehead, second in a series of 3. Courtesy of Pechanga Resort and Casino and while supplies last. For more information, go to angels.com. Trout looks at a strike. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. He's also scored a run. What?
We're full throwing that slow curveball right now. If it's in the lower part of the strike zone, there's a good chance that Trout will hit it hard.
Two-one count. Leiter at AAA this year, 2-1 with a 4.20 ERA, 7 games, 5 starts, 38 strikeouts in 30 innings. There's 29 strikeouts in 36 plus innings at the major league level, this being his rookie campaign. Three and one.
Still only 50% of the time he'll throw a fastball on a 3-1 count to a right-handed batter.
Ground ball left side, and he'll sneak through for a base hit. So Trout pulls it through. Second hit of the night, third time on base, 2 on, 1 out for Albert.
And he did throw a fastball, and Trout made him pay for it. And pretty amazing. Trout with 2 hits tonight against the Phillies matches what he has done in his career against the Phillies. 2 for 17. The 2 for 3 tonight with a walk.
Well, last time these two teams met, it was in Philadelphia. It might as well have been in Millville, New Jersey. There was that many fans there.
I can't believe the standing ovation every single at bat Trout got.
Yep. Albert 2 for 3. Double, 2 RBIs his last time up. You talk about taking a fastball right down the pipe. 0-1. Good speed on the base with Coward at second, Trout at first. 1-1.
Albert's been good in this situation tonight. One time it took a perfect throw from Williams out in left field to throw out. Escobar would have been his first RBI, but then Pujols with a 2 RBI double to right field. The difference.
Breaking pitch is in there. 1-2.
Back in that 5th inning, Albert with 2 on. It's a fastball. Looks to go the other way. Double down the right field line. Driving in 2. Escobar and Trout picking up his 11th double. 65th RBI of the season for Albert Pujols.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
See if he was able to hold up. Yes.
Says you.
Yes.
No, says the Phillies.
Didn't cross the plate though. And generally, I'm always, anytime there's a check swing, I'll say, yeah.
So Ken Kaiser.
Oh yeah. Let's bring him. Back
2-2.
inside.
This is lifted down the line. Long run. And can't make the play. 2-2. Breaking ball down to the corner. Got a chance to go if it stays fair, and that is gone. Big fly for Albert Pujols. 3-run shot at number 608 of his career. 5-1 Halos.
Well, we talked about Albert in the opening. Big game up in Toronto. Huge game here tonight. 5 RBI night for Albert Pujols, tying a season high 17th home run for Albert. 393rd different pitcher he has homered against. Stayed back on that 72-mile-an-hour curveball. Gets that foot down, clears the hips, and hooks that down the line for a big 3-run home run by Albert Pujols.
So he couldn't get the dad. 1 for 3 in his career against Mark Leiter Sr., but he gets the son.
And not off uncle either, Al Leiter. But now just 1 home run away from tying Sammy Sosa on the all-time list. At that point would be the all-time home run leader as far as foreign-born players in the MLB. See him talking that sign, that curveball. It drifted in. He had to stay back. So that's all his power. He hit that out. That was 72 mile an hour.
Oh, right in the knee. Had like a little cut action to that fastball. You got him square in the knee, Goob. No intent there, it didn't look like.
No. See a cutter. We talked about one of the pitches he has, a cutter. That's right on the back of the knee.
I think his uncle taught him that pitch.
Oh, yes. Oh, he lived by that cutter. And as a batter, there's no way you can get out of the way of that cut fastball.
One on, one out. 5-1 Angels. We're in the 7th. Swing. Huge swing. That was a straight back.
That's the batter who's hitting 342 against a fastball this season. Gets a fastball first pitch, and he was on it, fouled it straight back.
Bouncer back to the mound. Leiter goes to second. That was pretty close at second base. You know that? A little quick footwork by Freddie Galvis. Almost made it appear as if he didn't touch the base. 2 outs.
See if he indeed gets this base on the throw from the pitcher. Drag it across the top of it.
Was the ball in the glove while I was dragging it?
You remember, it used to be in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Play.
Exactly. He's not on the base.
No.
That's what it looked like from here, too.
Angels lost their challenge early on in the game.
That's right. Always go to the crew chief.
Yeah.
See if he'd review it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ben with a couple of hits, 2 for 3. A crew chief thing you can't ask till the 8th. Gassed by Leiter over to first base.
What's amazing, 608 career home runs for Albert Pujols. 393 different pitchers he has hit those home runs against. Good changeup from Mark Leiter Jr. There's Albert. Big game. 5 RBI, matching season high. Single, double, 3-run home run.
Runner goes, the throw down to second and safe at second base.
'15th stolen base of the season for Anderson Simmons. Picked an all-speed pitch to go. It just got that hand in before the tag was applied by Galvis at short. The tag was applied.
Halos are done here in the 7th. We head to the 8th inning. 5-1 Angels. Albert Pujols extending that lead with a 3-run blast.
What a swing that was on a slow 72-mile-an-hour curveball. Keeps his hands back. Clears the hips. 3-run home run by Albert.
And Blake Parker is in to pitch the top of the 8th for the Halos as they lead the Phillies 5-1. Patrick O'Neill here with you. Hope you stick around after this game for Angels Live, brought to you by your SoCal Mazda dealers. Presently, plenty of good stuff to talk about. The machine, Albert Pujols, with all the offense. Ricky Nolasco, that strong 6. And how about Keenan Middleton? What a top of the 7 battling right there. I think channeling his buddy Fergus, the Angels superfan from Hong Kong, who crashed at his place last night. So using that positivity from Fergus. So, but as we send it back to Victor and Mark, maybe it's the pizza also. Are the fans saying no more pizza talk? Do I weigh in with my pizza joint from my childhood?
What do you got, bro?
I just want to say shout out to Jacopo's Pizzeria. It's gone now after 40 years.
Where was it?
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica?
No, it was in Beverly Hills in Santa Monica. Santa Monica Boulevard.
Oh, is that hoity-toity pizza there, patio?
Yeah, the slums of Beverly Hills.
Blake Parker takes over here in the 8th inning with the Angels up 5-1. He has been lights out here at home. Taking over for Keenan Middleton. Facing Herrera. Couple of changes on the defensive side for the Angels. New third baseman Escobar was taken out. Caleb Coward moves over from second to third, with Pennington's the new second baseman, Shane Robinson the new right fielder. Herrera 1 for 3. And a bunt base hit his last time up. Shoots this one towards short, backhanded by Simmons. So under control, 1 down. This is what happened, or what we saw on Yunel Escobar on the last swing that he took when he struck out. Watch him grab his back or his lower side.
It was that slow breaking ball. We talked about it as he was walking back to the dugout, holding his side, uncomfortable on the swing.
Franco, the third baseman, now up. He's 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to center.
Anyway, going back to Keenan Middleton's last pitch, he threw 93 mile an hour slider to get Joseph. Impressive.
Ball and a strike. Blake Parker pitching in his 51st game, 3-2 and a 2.14 ERA. Last outing for Blake was on Sunday. It was his 50th appearance. New career high for him. Previous out was 49 games with the Cubs back in 2013. This one's lifted out to left. Two down.
Going back to my Hyundai key for this game, end of the road after that tough road trip, long homestand, trying to get off to a good start, leading 5-1 now. Phillies had that early lead all the way up to the bottom of the 5th inning, but Albert Pujols has done it all tonight. 2 RBI double in the 5th, 3-run home run in the 7th.
Williams 1 for 3 tonight with a base hit.
By the way, Albert's had 22 games in his career where he's had 5 or more RBI. His team's record during that stretch of 22, 21-1.
Broken bat bouncer. Off balance. Throwing a 1-2-3 eighth inning for Blake Park. We head to the bottom of the eighth inning. It's a 5-1 Angel lead. Stands out. Albert Pujols, second consecutive 3-hit game. He's homered, doubled, singles, a triple shy of the cycle, Gooby. And odds are he's not going to get a chance to complete that cycle unless the Angels have one heck of an eighth inning here. But overall, nice performance on the offensive side. 11 hits. It's a 5-1 Angel lead. We start this eighth inning. Drew Anderson called up today. This will be his Phillies debut. Last pitch in the big leagues. 2006.
And when you think about Albert Pujols, his last 2 games, talked about even on the pregame show, he's streaky. When he gets in one of his grooves, he could do some serious damage for a long period of time. Had an 0 for 24 run and then 2 home runs, 3 hits, 4 RBI on Sunday, 3 hits, 5 RBI home run tonight.
Mistake on my notes. It's a major league debut for this Drew Anderson. Redding 7-4 with a 3.76 ERA. Held opponents at .217 batting average. He was in camp. Clearwater. First pitch swinging is Martin Maldonado. Anderson takes over for Leiter. Ended up giving up the 3 runs on 3 hits. 1 hit batter, 1 strikeout.
By the way, that's the 24th pitch that Martin Maldonado has seen tonight.
A lot of foul balls.
Yes.
Oh for 3 tonight. That's out toward right center field. Hit well. On the warning track as Herrera leaps up at the last second. Didn't really need to, but it looked good. 1 down. He got there quickly. Obviously a lot of speed for that center fielder.
He does have some real good coverage out in the outfield. Trying to look exactly where the wall is going to be. Leaps up and then into the wall. If he gets back to the wall,
yeah, it's
save that contact.
It's not as cool just heading back there, standing there making the catch.
He's excitement, entertainment. The bat flipper.
Yeah. There's Pennington, first plate appearance. Batting in Flores' spot. Flores ended up going 0 for 3 in his Angels debut tonight. Down left field line, a slicing foul. Back up the middle, the base hit. 12th hit of the night for the Angels.
Good swing there from Pennington, right back up middle.
Caleb with a base hit his last time up. He started off the rally for the Angels in that 7th. Scored one of the 3 runs. He'll take a strike.
He had that real good swing to lead off that 7th. Oh, Alfredo unable to make the play. Still a good throwing arm for Alfredo, though.
That's ripped to right field. Boy, sat back on that breaking ball nicely. A 2-hit game for Caleb. 2 on, 1 out.
Stay back. You mentioned that, Victor, very well. We talked about it before. Quiet hands. And what do you mean by that? Is not a lot of wasted movement in the hands, and then short through the baseball and lines it once again for a base hit. Quiet hands. Get that foot down. Short through the baseball. Not that long swing he used to have. Showed it before on the road trip where the hands were up higher. Rest the bat on his shoulder. The hands, not a lot of movement, and then through the baseball and lines it for another hit.
12 for 25 at the major league level this year. So 2 on. 1 out. Shane Robinson up. First plate appearance for Shane. He'll take outside. Pennington and Coward on the move. Throw down to third, and it gets away. It'll bring home a run. Coward ends up at third. 6-1 Angels.
Double steal works to perfection. That throw away from Franco at third base, allowing Pennington to score from third on that wide throw. That's that third base and then down the line, forcing the infield in once again. Here now for the Phillies.
2-0. Takes a strike. Knapp gets charged with his 4th error on that throw. Three and 1. Trout on deck.
3rd stolen base in the game for the Angels, giving them now 91 on the season.
Maybe Albert does get an opportunity to go for that 3-bagger. He needs to hit it to right center field, have Herrera go out there, leap, bang into the wall, fall down, ball ricochet back towards center. And then a couple other things to happen for Albert to get to 3rd. Robinson out toward right. Coward back. Makes the catch. Or makes the Altair makes the catch. Coward tags and scores. Sac fly for Robinson, 7-1.
You were thinking of all those ways for Albert to get a triple.
I love how Altair throws the glove up. That's what threw me. Like he's going to fool the base runner who's already going back to 3rd to tag up. Shouldn't he throw the glove downward to pretend he's going to catch a grounder? The reverse psych.
The Torrey Hunter effect still going around in baseball. Torrey was very good at that play. He's got a pretty good throwing arm. 6 outfield assists. He got a lot on that throw.
Yeah, for flat-footed.
Yes.
The only way that play works, that throwing the glove up. Whoa, that one just a bit inside. Is if it's a ball over your head.
Yes.
And you're not sure as a base runner if it's going to be caught or it's actually going to go off the wall. But
Yes.
that stuff that's coming in.
Yeah.
Anybody who does it now on a ball coming in, it's obviously going to drop in. Nobody throws the glove up there to make a catch like that.
No.
Running.
No.
Trout takes a strike, 1-1.
Seeing 2 up and in breaking balls and then a high fastball in this at bat.
He's been on board 3 times, 2 singles and a walk.
I think Trout would like that pitch back. He's never homered against the Phillies. Grew up a Philly fan.
2-2. And he'll strike out swinging. Albert doesn't get the opportunity to hit for the side. We head to the 9th inning. Angels are up 7-1. I know you wanted it.
Yes.
You're hoping.
I was hoping.
On Fox Sports West is being brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, the new benchmark of minivans. Test drive one at your local Chrysler dealership today. By Mercury Insurance, we're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save. And by Buick. Top of the 9th here at the Big A, the opening game of this 9-game homestand. Halos up by the score of 7-1 against the Philadelphia Fighting Phils.
Troy Scribner takes over on the mound. Second appearance. This will be his home debut. Winning pitcher in Saturday's game. Remember, he went 3 innings. Gave up the home run to Miguel Montero that put the Blue Jays on top, but the Angels came back in the 9th inning and allowed him to pick up the win. His first of his major league career, and on top of all that, the icing on the proverbial cake on his mom's birthday.
And still has a major smile after that, too. Talked a little bit again about it today.
Young Soo Kim, the DH, 8-9-1 coming up for Philadelphia here in the 9th. Kim tonight 1 for 3 with a double. Ricky Nolasco, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's in line for the W. Be his 5th should the Angels be able to close it out. One around, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three-2. He walked him. Lead off walk to start the 9th.
Now it's time for the Land Rover above and beyond player of the game. Albert Pujols pulls in the 7th inning, 2 on. A 3-run home run, number 608 in his career, 393rd different pitcher. Albert is homered against, also had a 2-run double, 5 RBI season high for Albert Pujols.
Knapp's 1 for 3, had a double back in the 7th. Oh, 2. Halos will have J.C. Ramirez on the mound tomorrow. They're looking for his 10th win once again. Jake Thompson on the mound for Philadelphia. Ground ball second, Pennington to Simmons. The first, got him.
3rd double play turned on the infield tonight.
Oh,
that was not an easy
there at first base with Luis Valbuena. Makes it interesting. He's fun.
Yes.
You like using the word fun, don't you?
Yes.
Fun.
Fun. Like that Sunday read, a family fun day for you.
He's talking as he's catching, stumbling. What in the world?
Yeah.
Cesar Hernandez 2 for 4, a couple singles, one of which was a bunt base hit. So 2 infield base hits for him tonight. Out toward left, Revere is there. Light that baby up as the Angels take the opener of this series against the Phillies by the final of 7-1.
And Albert Pujols, really the story of this game. 5 RBI, 2-run double, 3-run home run. Ricky Nolasco threw the ball very, very well, picking up his 5th victory of the season. Good to be back home, 13 hits. The offense starting to put it together. We talked about the numbers on the road trip. Pretty solid here again today with 13 hits, 7 runs scored. Picked up the first win of this 9-game homestand, a very important homestand for this team.
Games you've got to win, and down the stretch you've got to win a majority of those games if you're thinking about trying to make any type of move for that wild card spot. Seattle won once again today. Angels pick up the victory by the final of 7-1. Ricky Nolasco picks up his 5th win of the season. Aaron Nola ends up suffering the loss. Albert with that big 2 RBI double with 2 outs. Gave the Angels a 2-1 lead and his 3-run home run. Kind of extended, provided some insurance runs before the Angels added 2 more in the 8th. 7-1 in the final. Halos win it. Albert with 608 career home runs and creeping up on the all-time list of hits, doubles, and RBIs. He's down in the field with Alex Curry. Alex.
Albert, your team knows the work that needs to go into staying into this wild card race. What does it mean to start this 9-game homestand off with a win?
Great. I mean, obviously, we lost a tough one on Sunday, but we have a great group of guys. We had a day off yesterday, and today, first game of the series, and I'm glad that we came out with a win.
And Ricky Nolasco battled for you guys on the mound tonight. Then each arm followed suit to keep you guys in this game. What did you see from your pitching staff?
Well, he made a great pitch, when he needed to. He got in trouble a couple of times, but, he trusts his off-speed pretty well and his curve, and he made some good pitch and got out of the jam, so he was huge for us tonight.
And he got the run support he needed. You a big help to that with a 5 RBI night. When you're facing a pitcher you've never seen before, what's your approach?
I mean, we got a scouting report and video, so we don't have any advantage, you just go out there, you first start by. I knew what he was trying to do, but the rest of the night, we're just trying to get a good pitch to swing, a good pitch to hit, and that's what I did. And obviously, my last one was the best.
It was. Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Well, there you have it. The Angels take Game 1 of this 9-game homestand thanks to Albert Pujols' 5 RBI night. But stick around for Angels Live with Patrick O'Neill and Jose Mota as we break it all down next.